Changing kidney blood type may boost transplants.
Nurse whose Felix Stowe Park walk raised £25,000 for UK NHS dies.
Gran, 99, who almost became a nun, welcomes 100th great-grandchild.
Rubbing cow dung on vagina during labour won't aid delivery. Can cause infection, gynecologist.
UK infected blood victims get £100,000 compensation.
2 polio vaccine guards shot dead in Pakistan.
New virus called the Langya henipavirus found in China.
Churchgoer bitten by snake during service dies after refusing medical treatment.
Ebola outbreak officially over in DR Congo.
Weekend burst of exercise can be enough to stay fit.
Mother drowns her 3 children in a murder-suicide following husband's suicide.
Boy, 12, has bones that can shatter at the slightest touch like he's made of glass.
Monkey breaks into home, snatches month-old baby while breastfeeding and kills him.
Kenya's top public hospital bewails the growing number of people asking to sell their kidneys.
Austrian man catches drug-resistant super gonorrhea from Cambodian sex worker.
WHO launches new app to curb skin cancer.
Swiss gov lift ban on medical use of cannabis.
First polio outbreak in the United Kingdom in decades has been declared.
Mum gives birth to twins but one is 3 times smaller than the other.
Rare condition has left Toddler looking like Boris Johnson as her hair can't be combed.
Under 12s in England will be banned from heading footballs in bid to stop brain injuries.
Justin Bieber to return to the stage for world tour after devastating facial paralysis.
Small amounts of exercise boost women's brain speed, study finds.
Japanese city hunts for wild monkey following spate of attacks.
Baby girl drowned in bath while dad browsed Facebook, leaving her for 7 minutes.
Transformational therapy cures hemophilia B.
New York adult diagnosed with polio, first US case in nearly a decade. And now the news. Changing kidney blood type may boost transplants. Researchers have successfully altered the blood type of donor kidneys, which could increase the supply of organs available for transplant. The breakthrough has particular implications for minority groups, which often have a more difficult time finding a match. A kidney from a type A person cannot be given to a type B person, and vice versa. However, changing a kidney's blood type to the universal type O allows it to be transplanted into any patient. A normothermic perfusion machine, a device used to pass oxygenated blood through a kidney to help preserve it, was used by scientists at the University of Cambridge to flush blood infused with an enzyme through a donor kidney. The enzyme removes blood type markers from the organ's blood vessels, effectively changing its blood type to type O. When 3 donor kidneys were successfully transplanted, the procedure took only a few hours.
Nurse whose Felix Stowe Park walk raised £25,000 for UK NHS dies. A retired nurse who walked 102 laps of a local park to raise money for the UK NHS on her 102nd birthday has died. Joan Rich walked more than 35 miles and raised £25,000 in her local park in Felixstowe, Suffolk, during COVID restrictions in 2020. She passed away on July 29, just 2 months before her 104th birthday. Her daughter, Diane Rich, described her mother as an amazing, courageous, warm, and humorous woman who would be remembered for her generosity.
Gran, 99, who almost became a nun, welcomes 100th great-grandchild. A grandmother who once wanted to be a nun has welcomed her 100th great-grandchild. Marguerite Kohler of Pennsylvania, USA, is celebrating the birth of her grandson, Kohler, who is named after his great-grandmother. The achievement comes just 2 months before the 99-year-old's 100th birthday. Marguerite was on the verge of becoming a nun, but instead married her husband William in 1942. Kohler, now a widow living in Bluebell, Pennsylvania, is the mother of 11 children and grandmother of 56 grandchildren, despite being an only child herself.
Rubbing cow dung on vagina during labor won't aid delivery. Can cause infection, gynecologist. Dr. LeBaron Aliu, consultant obstetrician and gynecologist at Kano State's Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital, has warned pregnant women against engaging in cultural practices that could be harmful to their health and the health of their unborn babies. One of the cultural practices to avoid, he says, is rubbing cow dung on the vagina of a woman in labor, noting that this will not aid delivery, but may expose the woman to infection and tetanus. Aliu also stated that some pregnant women are also prohibited from eating certain foods that would aid in the growth and development of their babies due to the mistaken belief that they will harm their babies after birth. The gynecologist stated in an interview with Punch Healthwise that these false cultural beliefs and practices contribute to Nigeria's alarming maternal mortality rate.
UK infected blood victims get £100,000 compensation. The government has announced that approximately 4,000 UK victims of the tainted blood scandal will receive interim compensation of £100,000 each. It will be given to people whose health is deteriorating as a result of blood-borne viruses such as hepatitis and HIV, as well as partners of those who have died. After decades of campaigning, this is the first time compensation will be paid. Families welcomed the news, but many people, such as bereaved parents, would be excluded. The payment will be made in England by the end of October. The money will also be distributed to residents of Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. The contaminated blood scandal has been dubbed the UK NHS's worst treatment disaster in its history. From the mid-1970s onwards, thousands of UK NHS patients with hemophilia and other blood disorders became seriously ill after receiving a new treatment called Factor 8 or 9.
2 polio vaccine guards shot dead in Pakistan. 2 police officers guarding a polio vaccination team were killed by gunmen in northwestern Pakistan. According to police, the team of 2 vaccinators were unharmed. Anti-vaccine militants frequently target local polio vaccination teams, with some claiming vaccination is a Western plot to sterilize Muslims. Polio, which can be fatal or paralyze patients in severe cases, is still endemic in only 2 countries, Pakistan and Afghanistan. According to local police, the 2 gunmen were hiding near a small water channel before opening fire on the guards from very close range. The incident happened in Kotazam, Tank district, in northwest Pakistan.
New virus called the Langya hemophilia found in China. More research is needed on a new virus discovered in dozens of people in eastern China that may not cause the next pandemic but demonstrates how easily viruses can spread from animals to humans, according to scientists. According to a team of scientists, the virus, dubbed Langya hemophilia, infected nearly 3 dozen farmers and other residents and may have spread directly or indirectly to people from shrews, small mole-like mammals found in a variety of habitats.
Churchgoer bitten by snake during service dies after refusing medical treatment. A man died after being bitten by a snake during a church service and refusing to be seen by doctors. Worshipper John David Brock was injured when the snake sunk its teeth into his arm while he was handling it at a service in Jensen, Kentucky. According to the Bell County Sheriff's Office, the 60-year-old chose not to seek medical attention after being bitten at the small town's Mossy Simpson Pentecostal Church, instead going to his brother's home, where he died from the injury. Mr. Brock was a holiness believer who had worked as a coal miner for over half of his life for 36 years, according to an obituary. Snake handling is a common practice at church services in some denominations, particularly in the southern Appalachian states. Pastors are thought to use the creatures to demonstrate how God protects Christians from harm, and worshippers hold them high while singing and dancing. The tradition is based on a passage in the Gospel of Mark that claims believers can pick up serpents without fear of harm. This has previously sparked debate, particularly in light of similar recent deaths caused by snake bites.
Ebola outbreak officially over in DR Congo. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, the latest Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of the Congo was contained in 3 months thanks to a swift and robust response. Since the outbreak, the country's 14th since 1976, was declared in April in the western city of Mbandaka. 4 people have died. According to the World Health Organization, 3 of those who died were confirmed cases, and 1 was a probable case. The WHO will continue to monitor the situation in case of flare-ups, but it praised Congolese authorities in a statement. The UN agency collaborated with the government to implement vaccinations, testing, contact tracing, infection prevention and control, and community engagement.
Weekend burst of exercise can be enough to stay fit. A big burst of exercise at the weekend is just as good as spreading activity out over the week, according to a study. Over a 10-year period, US researchers tracked 350,000 people to see how well so-called weekend warriors fared. The findings, published in the journal JAMA Internal Medicine, suggest that the type and total amount of exercise matter more than the number of sessions. A minimum of 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise per week is recommended. A brisk walk, a light effort cycle on a bike, or playing doubles tennis would all count. Alternatively, you could engage in 75 minutes of vigorous activity, such as running, swimming, or playing a game of football, according to UK NHS guidelines.
Mother drowns her 3 children in a murder-suicide following husband's suicide. According to sheriff's investigators, a mother and her 3 children whose bodies were discovered in a Minnesota lake over the weekend died in a murder-suicide, and their deaths appear to have followed the suicide of the children's father. Police and firefighters were called to the Maplewood neighborhood of St. Paul on Friday after a woman, identified as 23-year-old Molly Cheng, reported that her husband had shot himself. According to a news release from the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office, the man was later identified as Yi Lee, 27, and died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. According to the news release, police arranged for social workers to assist Cheng and her children, but that afternoon a relative called 911 and said Cheng was going to kill her children and herself. Cheng's cell phone was tracked to Vadnais Sucker Lake Park in Vadnais Heights, just north of St. Paul, by Maplewood police. Deputies discovered Cheng's car in a parking lot, as well as several pairs of children's shoes and the car keys on the lake's shore. According to the news release, first responders immediately began a search in the water and on land. One of the 3 children, a 4-year-old, was discovered in the lake that evening, and his cause of death was determined to be drowning and smothering, according to the medical examiner. A 5-year-old boy was discovered in the lake shortly after midnight, and the cause of death was listed as drowning in a news release. When investigators resumed their search on Saturday, they discovered the mother's body, and her death was ruled a suicide by drowning. Several hours later, they discovered the body of the 3rd child, a 3-year-old. The medical examiner determined the child died as a result of drowning and suffocation, according to the news release. According to the sheriff's office, the children's deaths were classified as homicides.
Boy, 12, has bones that can shatter at the slightest touch like he's made of glass. Due to his rare bone condition, a boy who has broken 100 bones in his life has been described as made of glass. Rohit, age 12, is afflicted with osteoporosis, also known as brittle bone disease. In his case, it is so severe that even the slightest touch can cause one of his bones to break, leaving him isolated and unable to play with other children. Rohit's condition has also limited his ability to grow, as he stands only 1 feet 4 tall and weighs only 2 stone 4 pounds. He has broken nearly 100 bones in his short life, which works out to about 8 per year. Rohit, who is from Uttar Pradesh, India, is completely reliant on his mother's assistance in moving. Because his condition prevents him from enrolling in school, Rohit is taught to read by his older sister while being in excruciating pain for the majority of the day. Despite his illness, the young child has his heart set on becoming a singer when he grows up and has no intention of letting his illness get in the way. There is currently no cure for osteoporosis, but patients can seek treatment to help protect and strengthen their bones.
Monkey breaks into home, snatches month-old baby while breastfeeding and kills him. During a tragic incident in Tanzania, a monkey snatched a month-old baby from its mother and killed it. According to the Daily Mail, Shaima said was breastfeeding her infant son Luhaiba in the western village of Mwamgongo near the Gom National Park when a gang of monkeys broke into the family home. One of the creatures grabbed the boy and took him away from his mother, with villagers attempting in vain to reclaim the child. During the rescue effort, he sustained head and neck injuries and died while receiving emergency medical treatment.
Kenya's top public hospital bewails the growing number of people asking to sell their kidneys. According to Kenya's top public hospital, there has been an increase in the number of people inquiring about and offering to sell their kidneys. Kenyatta National Hospital stated in a Facebook post that the most frequently asked question via their inbox was, "How much for my kidney?" The hospital, on the other hand, stated that while body organs could be donated to those in need, they could not be sold. Please note that organ sale is strictly prohibited and illegal. You can only donate out of free will, it said. The hospital's poster emphasizes the desperate measures people are considering in the face of rising food and fuel prices. The World Bank warned earlier this month that Eastern Africa was one of the regions facing a major recession as a result of Russia's war in Ukraine and coronavirus.
Austrian man catches drug-resistant super gonorrhea from Cambodian sex worker. According to reports, an Austrian man contracted drug-resistant supergonorrhea after having unprotected sex with a sex worker in Cambodia. In April, the unidentified man in his 50s was on vacation when he slept with the woman. When he returned home 5 days later, he allegedly felt a burning pain while urinating and had discharge from his penis. He was diagnosed with the STI after tests, and he was given antibiotics. While his symptoms subsided, he continued to test positive, indicating that the treatment had failed. According to a report, doctors have stated that this strain is extensively drug-resistant, and that if allowed to spread, it could render gonorrhea untreatable.
WHO launches new app to curb skin cancer. The World Health Organization has announced the release of a new mobile application to aid in the prevention of skin cancer. According to the WHO, the application will aid in the protection of individuals from excessive ultraviolet exposure, which is a major cause of skin cancer and other ultraviolet-related diseases. The WHO stated that the app will help individuals be aware of when to use sun protection and will help to reduce the global burden of skin cancer and UV-related eye damage. According to the WHO, the app is designed to provide localized information about UV radiation levels, as well as highlight time slots when sun protection is required. The Global Health Agency said the launch of the SunSmart Global UV app was done in collaboration with the World Meteorological Organization, the United Nations Environment Programme, and the International Labour Organization.
Swiss Gov lift ban on medical use of cannabis. The Swiss government decided on Wednesday to lift the ban on medical cannabis use beginning August 1st. Patients who have been medically prescribed the drug will no longer need to seek special permission from the Ministry of Health. Cannabis sales and consumption for non-medical purposes will remain illegal. The government intends to facilitate access to cannabis for medical use for patients, according to a statement, and thus lifted the ban on its use for that purpose. According to the report, the new regulations could benefit thousands of people suffering from severe chronic pain, including those with cancer and multiple sclerosis.
First polio outbreak in the United Kingdom in decades has been declared. Polio has been reported to have spread in London among closely related individuals and extended family. During a routine inspection at the Beckton sewage treatment works in London, samples were collected that contained traces of the polio virus. The UK Health Security Agency has declared the discovery a national incident. The samples were discovered between February and May and have since evolved into vaccine-derived poliovirus type 2. The risk of spreading throughout the community is currently being assessed.
Mum gives birth to twins, but one is 3 times smaller than the other. A tiny baby born 3 times smaller than her twin sister defied doctors' predictions that she would die in the womb. Reagan, who is now 6 months old, was born 11 weeks early and weighed only 1 pound, dwarfed by her twin Mila, who weighed 2 pounds and 13 ounces. Audriana Lambert, twins' mother, said it was a miracle Reagan was still alive after doctors told her she wouldn't survive the pregnancy. Audriana and her husband Chase, 29, a union laborer, were overjoyed to learn she was pregnant after their first round of IVF after years of trying. The couple found out they were expecting twins at 6 weeks, but baby B, Reagan, was measuring small and it was possible they would lose her early in the pregnancy. When doctors at West Penn Hospital in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, noticed Reagan had stopped growing at 20 weeks, they became concerned. Mila spent 45 days in the newborn intensive care unit after a C-section in December 2021 before she was strong enough to come home. But Reagan, who was suffering from sepsis, had to wait 118 days before she could join her sister in Washington, Pennsylvania. Mila now weighs 12 pounds and Reagan 7 pounds 5 ounces, and the twins are both doing well.
Rare condition has left Toddler looking like Boris Johnson, as her hair can't be combed. Due to a rare condition, a baby has permanent Boris Johnson-like hair that cannot be combed. 18-month-old Layla Davis was nicknamed after the outgoing Prime Minister by her mother Charlotte due to her messy blonde hair. The child was born with uncombable hair syndrome, UHS, which causes dry, frizzy hair that cannot be flattened. However, she was only recently formally diagnosed. Charlotte, 28, of Great Blakenham, Suffolk, said she and her partner Kevin, 35, tried blow-drying and conditioning her daughter's hair, but were unsuccessful. Scientists estimate that only 100 people worldwide have the condition. It appears in childhood, usually before the age of 3, but it can appear as late as the age of 12. Sometimes we call her Boris because her hair is just uncontrollable. No matter what we do to it, her hair will never go straight, Charlotte told The Sun. Affected children have light-colored hair that is described as blonde or silvery with a glistening sheen. UHS is a disorder of the hair shaft of the scalp caused by faulty genes. It was discovered for the first time in 1973. There is no cure for UHS, but it usually improves or disappears around the age of puberty. If you have UHS, doctors usually advise you to be gentle with your hair.
Under-12s in England will be banned from heading footballs in bid to stop brain injuries. The English Football Association announced on Monday that children under the age of 12 will be prohibited from heading the ball in a trial. Following research indicating that former football players are more likely to die from brain disease, campaigners will applaud the move. The International Football Association board has agreed to support the trial in England beginning with the 2022-23 season. It will be implemented by the FA's county network, leagues, clubs, and schools across the country. Should the trial be successful, the aim is to then remove deliberate heading from all football matches at U12 level and below beginning in the 2023-24 season, an FA spokesman said.
Justin Bieber to return to the stage for World Tour after devastating facial paralysis. Justin Bieber is set to return to the stage after suffering from facial paralysis caused by Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, which he revealed to fans in a shocking video. Following news that he had postponed tour dates due to a health issue, the singer, 28, opened up about his condition on his Instagram account. Justin revealed to his followers via an important video that he was suffering from facial paralysis, which had rendered him unable to move one side of his face. He told his fans, "I wanted to update you guys on what's been going on. Obviously, as you can probably see from my face, I have this syndrome called Ramsay-Hunt syndrome. However, the baby hitmaker will now return to the stage with a string of European dates after postponing his world tour due to his ongoing recovery." The singer will kick off his tour on July 31st at the Lucca Summer Festival in Italy, before heading to South America, South Africa, the Middle East, Asia, Australia, and New Zealand in 2023.
Small amounts of exercise boost women's brain speed, study finds. Maintaining physical and mental fitness has long been recommended for improved mental health as you age. According to a new study, women's mental processing speed may benefit more than men from an increase in exercise, such as brisk walking or biking for at least 15 minutes per week. One of the most noticeable signs of cognitive aging is a slowing of the brain's processing speed. Being able to think faster aids in planning, problem solving, staying task-focused, and the ability to easily engage in conversations with others. According to the study, cognitive activities such as playing card games and reading improved mental processing speed in both sexes, according to Neurology, the medical journal of the American Academy of Neurology, published Wednesday.
Japanese city hunts for wild monkey following spate of attacks. A wild monkey is terrorizing a small city in southwestern Japan, breaking into homes to bite and claw residents, according to officials. According to the city's administrative office, the monkey has attacked 20 people in Yamaguchi's Oguri neighborhood since July 8, with the majority receiving minor injuries. The monkey scratched the leg of a 10-month-old girl, who is the youngest victim, after it entered through a screen door on the first floor of her house. The type of monkey responsible for the attacks has not been confirmed, but the area is home to macaques, also known as Japanese snow monkeys. Macaques can be found in parks in several parts of Japan, often scavenging food from visitors. Police are increasing patrols in the area and urging residents to keep their windows closed while the search continues.
Baby girl drowned in bath while dad browsed Facebook, leaving her for 7 minutes. According to reports, a baby girl drowned in the bath after her father left her for 7 minutes to smoke and browse Facebook. Leah J. died last April 2nd after her father, Daniel James Gallagher, abandoned her in the water with the taps still running. Gallagher, 26, was sentenced to 5 years in prison, which will be suspended after 15 months, after pleading guilty to Leah's manslaughter. Gallagher initially left Leah to deal with an electrical problem at the property, according to the Brisbane Supreme Court. However, having headed outside, he then smoked a cigarette while scrolling through Facebook for several minutes. When he returned to the bathroom, he discovered Leah unconscious and floating face down in an overflowing tub of water. Gallagher called 911 and attempted CPR while waiting for paramedics, while Leah's mother, Shaylan Gallagher, also made a desperate attempt to save the little girl. After being taken to Hervey Bay Hospital, the child was pronounced dead.
Transformational therapy cures hemophilia B. According to British doctors, a transformational therapy has effectively cured people with the bleeding disorder hemophilia B. The treatment corrects a genetic defect that causes blood to clot and stop bleeding in people. Elliot Mason, who took part in the therapy trial, says his life now feels completely normal. According to experts, advances like this could change the lives of adults with hemophilia in the coming years.
New York adult diagnosed with polio, first U.S. case in nearly a decade. A person in Rockland County, New York, has been diagnosed with polio, the first case in nearly a decade in the United States. According to County Health Commissioner Dr. Patricia Schnobel Rupert, the unvaccinated young adult began experiencing weakness and paralysis about a month ago. The case comes nearly a month after the UK Health Security Agency warned that poliovirus had been detected in sewage samples from London, indicating that there had been some spread between closely linked individuals in North and East London, though no cases had been identified.
For your daily global health news, visit www.staywellworld.org. Please do well to subscribe, like, share and comment. If you've already subscribed, turn on the notification icon so you don't miss any update. Thank you for watching.